Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Rich Politics with me, your host, Rich Taylor. And I'm so excited because many of you know across social media, we've seen it. The truckers in Canada are rising. Not just the truckers, but Canadians in general, because of the tyrant that is Justin Trudeau, who's gone in hiding. Yes, that's right. He's hiding away. He's gone MIA. He's gone AWOL. Why? Because he's shitting himself. He's scared. Why is he scared? Because the people are rising up. And always remember this. The power is never with government. It's always with the people, because we're the ones who elect them in the first place. And I'm so pleased tonight to have a former candidate for the People's Party of Canada with me, someone who I've got to know on social media, who's been involved with the convoy, been involved with the protest, and who's a pro-fighter for freedom and everything else that we stand and we value here in the UK and across Europe. It is the one and only Donnan McKenna. Donnan, welcome to Rich Politics. Thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Donnan, just tell us a little bit about yourself and you know what's been happening in Canada, because of course mainstream media have been very quiet to report this, as you can imagine. You're the BBC and we've got Sky News, you know, across the US as well with Fox News, CNN. You know, they don't like the message of freedom. They don't like it when we're anti-establishment, against, you know, what the government is instituting, especially when it comes to, you know, mandatory vaccinations. We've seen it here. We're fighting against all those things. What's happening in Canada? The first, you know, we see it and we're like, wow, it's amazing to see. And we're seeing it across social media because that's where we're getting our feed and our news from. It's amazing to see what's happening. Tell us, because you're there firsthand, what is going on?
I think, well, people have had enough. We've had enough. I mean, for 2 years, I've been living with the virus, and it's endemic now. And even recently, as far as the Omicron, a lot of people have been getting sick. People have been double vaccinated, triple vaccinated, and they still catch it. So the government is pushing this mandate further and further and further. The difficulty is that some people are allergic and they're not going to take it. Other people say, you know what, I'm young, I'm healthy, I have at no risk. And if I'm vaccinated, I can spread the virus. I'm vaccinated. I'm not helping anybody by getting the vaccine myself. Other people will say, you know what, I don't believe in the science. I don't believe in the studies, and I think it's unhealthy. And other people just say that, you know what, I'm not going to be forced to do anything in coercion. And so the government's here, and it's not just the federal governments, 2 other provincial governments are ramping up the coercion. Of course, they've introduced vaccine passports and whatnot, all these other fascist little things. I know in Quebec too, if you're over 12 years old, you can't go into a big box retailer anymore. The only thing you can get is drugs and groceries, and that's it. So anything over 1,500 square feet. So, I mean, an 11-year-old can go in, but a 12-year-old can't. And I'm not exactly sure where they see the science, but what it is it's punitive. Why now, if people haven't have any faith in the vaccine or they can't take it, they're not going to take it. And really, and if forcing them now and all of these other little fascist things that they're doing, it's just that what's un-Canadian, it's unfair, and it's mean-spirited. And I think people are sick of it. One of the things they're sick of is that they see their neighbors. Some of their neighbors have been let go from their jobs for not able to or not taking the vaccine. And this means that people have a hard time putting food on their table. And as far as the truckers go, most of them are vaccinated, but they are tired of it. And they look at their friends and their coworkers who aren't and say, no, you can't do this anymore. On top of that, the supply chain here is crumbling. And so, of course, Justin will say, oh, no, don't trust your lying eyes. When you go to the grocery store and you see that the produce is all empty and you look at the empty shelves, don't trust your lying eyes, because you know what? I'm JT and I'll take care of you. It'll be fine. You know, but it's just doubling down on the narrative.
Yeah, I think we've seen in the UK, we've got a big campaign happening. I'm part of something called the Together Declaration right now. There's fighting against mandatory vaccinations for NHS workers, people working in our hospitals, social care and all those things, because potentially they're going to lose their jobs in April if they've not had the vaccine. And the status of vaccination changes. So it's gone from having one to having two to having this third one. And it continues, you know, you're going to have them continually. And we're seeing it with social care workers here, with potentially now with the NHS workers, up to 80,000, 100,000 people losing their jobs, which to me, first and foremost, look, I'm a great believer in bodily autonomy. You know, it's your choice what you do with your body. You shouldn't be forced or coerced or bullied by government, by state, to do anything that you don't want to do. And, you know, we're seeing it here in the UK. But what we've seen in Canada has grabbed the kind of social media attention headlines, really, because it's been huge. And I've seen people sharing it on Getter, which is a new platform set up by Jason Miller, my friend. Of course, we've got Twitter, which is it's been censored quite a bit, but we see that on there, Facebook and YouTube. There's a huge rise. the Canadians, I mean, forgive me for saying this, I didn't think the Canadians were so passionate about freedom. And I can see it with the Americans, the pro-Trump supporters, right? Yeah, all that stuff. And here in the UK, there's a small group of us who feel the same. I say small in comparison to what's happening there. But what Canada is doing, what Canadians are doing is phenomenal. It's just incredible.
We're tired of the divisive politics. They're tired of, I'll call them JT and the Sunshine Band, getting together and saying it's the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, trying to split apart families and whatnot. And it's all drivel. And of course, I think it's fueled by our national broadcaster, and it's not just them, because they're all being paid. So the government, what they do is they'll pay the Global Television Network, they'll pay CTV, and they run drivel stories. Now, ever since this convoy started, the CBC started with fake news and was saying, "Oh no, this is to protest weather conditions," and then they tried to correct it. Weather conditions, what? They're protest the roads. Okay, then they go on and it's horrendous. And recently there was a tweet by a CBC journalist, "Oh, I'm being threatened online by these truckers." Okay, it turns out that was all made up, not even true.
Yeah.
So we have all of our mainstream media cannot be trusted. It cannot, and they're all taking handouts from the government. And just like in Britain, we have a lot of the Rebel News, which is actually has more subscribers than the CBC. And of course, we have another one called True North, and we have many other small podcasts.
Yeah. Well, let me just ask you about Justin Trudeau, all right? Because, of course, I mean, lots of people watching this tonight probably don't even know who he is or, anything else. I know that he's known in Canada, but of course, internationally, he might not be as well known to many people, but he's becoming more known now because of what's going on in Canada. He's under huge pressure. I mean, we've had the same year. You're in Wales. I'm in part of the United Kingdom, which is made up of Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, right? Part of the Union. We've had someone called the First Minister here, which is your equivalent to Justin Trudeau, called Mark Drakeford. And he's done exactly the same. Imposed vaccine passports, which is a waste of time. There's no evidence they work. It doesn't stop transmission. But we've not got on mandatory vaccinations here in Wales, certainly. But the UK government is pushing it under Boris Johnson's leadership and the Conservatives, which is shocking because it's not the kind of Conservative party that I would expect it to do that. I mean, just tell us a little bit about this Justin Trudeau, because from my personal view, and this is my personal opinion, he's a young bloke, he's a young kid, he looks wet behind the ears, and he's making major decisions that is changing society in Canada, and yet I just don't understand how. First of all, how the hell did he get elected, and what's he doing?
That's a really good question, and I think I went with 33% of the vote to get elected, but of course it was split up and. He's taken the Liberal Party. You think the Liberal Party would be okay for freedom, for people to make their own decisions? They're not, and they've taken 4 steps to the left. And so right, we have something called the New Democratic Party, which is the Labour Party, and I think they're all competing now. But even our Conservative Party, they're all competing to be farther to the left, to be more totalitarian. In the Conservative leader, he's horrendous. And so that's one reason I joined the People's Party is because I believe I was 30 years as a policeman. I retired as a superintendent, and I have faith in people. I believe people can make their own decisions for their lives, and they don't need big government to make it for them. At the same time, I say this, but I know you have the National Health Service there. We have the same thing here. Basically, we have free medical health for everybody, but unfortunately. Our provinces have done such a terrible job. They haven't increased with the pandemic ICU capacity. They've done none of these things. And our federal government, their leadership has all been about virtue signaling. And so our main party leaders, they're all doing that. They're all competing to be who can be the more virtuous. And what we need is adults in charge. We don't
I mean, right. Let's talk about the truckers' convoy, because that's what it's kind of hashtagged as. I mean, will it have a real impact in the sense where, will it cause government to reconsider their decision to make things mandatory there in Canada? Do you think it'll have an impact?
I think it's going to have a huge impact. I don't know if you saw Justin Trudeau on his press conference when he was vilifying them with their unacceptable views.
Yeah, he did. He called it a fringe movement, and he says, this nothing big, fringe movement. But there was thousands recorded, 1.4 million people this weekend. I mean, that ain't a fringe movement. Let's be honest.
No, and he says those things, but he demonizes people. And when he got first elected, it was all about sunny ways. About more transparency and openness for government. It's gone the opposite of that. And he's also, diversity is so important. Well, only diversity for people who believe what I believe. And other than that, no, nothing. But to demonize people.
Yeah.
I know people who are allergic to polyethylene glycol. And so they're allergic to things that are actually in the vaccine, and they can't take it. But they won't get a pass on it because they have to try to take it anyway. So it's kind of like if you're allergic to peanuts, and I say, okay, you know what? I want you to eat this peanut butter sandwich. And then we'll see, if you have a bad reaction, well, the second time might be better. So we don't do that with people. So, but that is our.
So let me ask you then. So you've been involved in the protests, of course. I know you have. As follow you on social media. By the way, don't forget to follow Donnan on social media as well. He'll be in the link in this video as well, and I'm sure you'd appreciate it. But just to give us a sense of the feeling from the convoys you've been on and the experience and the people you've talked to. What's the feeling on the ground there, Donnan?
This is like the first time in a few years that people are proud to be Canadians again. And, all the divisive politics, all the nonsense, and no matter what drivel the mainstream media pumps out, people aren't listening to it. And actually, they're getting mocked mocked a lot, especially the Russia one. That was actually quite funny. I have to send you the link to that they're saying that maybe they're Russian agents who started.
Yeah, do that.
I'm sure Vladimir Putin's very interested in
that's great. Into
the truckers.
well, listen. Putin controls our gas over here, so we've got to be kind to him. Otherwise, he'll cut our bloody gas off. We've been the right mess, then. It's costing us a fortune as it is, so we got to be nice to him.
We could send you.
we got plenty of gas under our feet, but they won't do it because of the green agenda. That's another story for another time for our viewers. They all know that. Yeah, but don't listen. It's been wonderful. Yeah, but listen, it's been wonderful having you. Our time is up. I'm going to keep it short because, and of course, to our viewers, the signal is quite bad because we've tried to connect on so many different platforms tonight, just for you to know. But there's been a problem. No doubt that they're trying to censor this as well and kick me off YouTube. I know the guys. But seriously, Donna, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. And if you haven't checked out the People's Party of Canada, folks, worth checking out because they stand for a lot of principles that I believe in, and I think it's worth looking at as well. And to all of our Canadian friends that may be watching this, I want you to know that here in the UK, we stand with you in absolute solidarity. And we say, go Canada because we love you. We appreciate you. And, one day, Donna, I think we're all going to look back and think, they called us crazy. They called us conspiracy theorists. And I think we're standing on the right side of history.
I think we really are. A conspiracy theorist said, well, when all the theories turn out to be true, what do you call now? Profit.
Well, I think we're more prophets. Yeah, we are certainly. Don, thank you so much and appreciate it. Don't forget to tune in every week here, folks. Right here on Rich Politics. I'll catch you soon on another episode of Rich Politics. Bye for now.